unplanned pregnancy is a lot, and having gone through that, I didn't find it very easy. So to be able to prevent that in the future and to also put out knowledge out there, I'm going to be talking about contraceptives in this video. Now, because there are a lot of contraceptives, I'm going to be breaking this video into three so that it's sort of like a series, and I'll be linking that playlist in the description. So if this is something that you would be interested in, stay tuned. Natural family planning method involves using your menstrual cycle to plan pregnancy or to prevent pregnancy, as the case may be. To be able to do this, you need to understand your menstrual cycle. Now, let me try to explain the menstrual cycle, and then we can now use it to explain the natural family planning method. Now, the menstrual cycle is divided into phases. I'm not going to be using medical terms so that I keep this as simple as possible. Okay, so in between the first and the second phase, there's ovulation, and then after ovulation, there's a second phase, and then you have the bleeding, which is what we see as our visitor every month. Now, the first phase is the one that varies. So usually an average menstrual cycle is 28 days, but actually normally it can last between 21 to 35 days. Some people even say up to 40 days. So this means that every, for example, 30 days you have your period. Now I'm going to be using 30 days and not 28, because a lot of people are used to 28 and feel like if it's not 28 it's not normal. No, you still have a regular cycle even if it's every 30 days. Now that brings me to whether it's regular or irregular. A regular cycle means that your cycle comes at a particular length every time. So if it's 30 days every 30 days, if it is 28 days every 28 days, if it's 21 days every 21 days. Okay, but an irregular cycle is that you have 40 days today, tomorrow 35 days, next tomorrow 28 days. There's really no pattern. It comes and goes as it likes, which is very annoying. But then if you have an irregular cycle, this form of family planning is definitely not for you, because it has a higher risk of failure. But you can combine it with some other methods to make it more effective. But let's get back to the menstrual period. Now, for someone that has a regular menstrual period, let's take 30 days for example. It's divided into two phases with ovulation in the middle. So the first phase is the one that varies for different people. So if you have 30 days, your first phase is 16 days. The second phase is the one that is constant for everybody. Once it's after ovulation, 14 days later you see your period. So if you have a 28-day cycle, that means your first phase is 14 days, your second phase is 14 days. If you have a 30-day cycle, your first phase is 16 days, your second phase is 14 days. I hope you understand me up to this point. Now, that's how you will know when your ovulation is. So if you have a 30-day cycle, you ovulate on the 16th day. If you have a 31-day cycle, you ovulate on the 17th day. If you have a 32-day cycle, you ovulate on the 18th day. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So that's how the menstrual cycle goes essentially. So different people have different days that they ovulate, but constantly the second phase after ovulation is 14 days. Now let's get down to how we use this as a method of family planning. When a woman ovulates, the egg lasts 24 hours and it dies. But the challenge is that you cannot say, okay, I will not have intercourse on the day of my ovulation, because the sperm of the man can last in the body up to 3 days. Some even say up to 7 days sometimes. So the safe period is 7 days before ovulation and 7 days after ovulation is the safe period, and that is what is called the natural family planning method for a woman. So the woman avoids intercourse with her partner 7 days before ovulation and 7 days after. Now, when this is used, it's actually up to 90% effective, but you can see the challenge will now be discipline to be able to adhere to that schedule. Some people feel it takes away the spontaneity in a marriage or with your partner and all of that, but if you're going to use that, you would have to adhere to that schedule, and you would have studied your period well to be sure this is when you ovulate. This is why it fails a lot of times, because any mistake, if you don't get me, you understand. But discipline, having studied your cycle, you can use this method. And the beauty of it is that it is accepted by all cultures, all religion, because some religions frown against some methods of contraception. That's fine, anybody's belief is okay with them. So if you're not comfortable with other forms of contraception for religious purposes, you can study your cycle with the help of your partner, with the trust, with discipline with your partner. You can use this method. So to make this natural planning method easier, this contraceptive method easier, there are apps that actually help you online to be able to track your period, track your ovulation, track when you're fertile and when you're not fertile. And the one that I use is the My Period Tracker on Android. I don't know if it's available on iOS. I've actually not checked. And it looks like this. When you open it, it shows you this part that tells you my periods, my calendar, my partner, which means you can send this, your partner can also have this app, so that both of you can have your records. Then it shows you my notes, and then diary if you feel like writing during those times.
Apart from apps, for people who want to use this cycle bead, which is an old method of counting your cycle, you can use this. The picture is over there. That red that you can see is the start of your cycle, and then the white beads represent the time that you avoid intercourse, to avoid pregnancy, while the brown beads represent the safe period. Now, the black bead is if you have a 26-day cycle, and if your cycle extends before that, you have the remaining brown. The black ring on the red bead is supposed to be moved every day so that you can track where you are in your cycle. But I think this is old and it is stressful. I'll prefer the app, but for whoever prefers it, that's still fine.
Now, other methods can also be combined with this natural method to make it more effective. And number one is the withdrawal method, which is essentially the man withdrawing during the action. But it's very, very ineffective because it's not easy. And then also there's pre-ejaculation that also contains some sperm that can still get the woman pregnant. Then there's also the barrier method, which is use of condoms, both male condoms and female condoms, and of course diaphragms. I'll put a picture here of what a diaphragm is. It looks like a cup, which you see right here. So that prevents sperm from getting into the uterus and into the fallopian tube, or wherever the egg is. The point is to prevent meeting with the egg at all, at all, at all. So that is something that can also be combined with the natural family planning method to make it more effective. And of course, it's a way of contraceptive on its own, the barrier method on its own, the withdrawal method on its own. But I have to warn, it's not effective because things can happen. It can also be used to make the natural family planning method more effective.
So I realized post-production that I want to dive in more into ovulation, different methods that you can monitor your ovulation, like temperature, the secretory method and all of that, and also go further into this app that I use. So that's a video that would also be linked in the description box when I make it.
But not the end of contraceptive methods, because I'm still going to make another video to talk about IUCD and then the hormonal methods, the pills, the injectables, the implants, all of that. If this is something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, the bell down that looks like that thing that looks like a bell. Yeah, turn it on so that when I post that video you get a notification. If you liked this video, hit the like button and share it with your male and female friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.